This video is based on Lingshan Hermit's work Gemini 3 and the Spiritual Crisis of the 21st Century. All rights reserved. Any infringement will be pursued. A few days ago, Google released the most powerful AI in history, Gemini 3 Pro. Many people marveled at its power, but more were focused on how to use it to create wealth. A new wave of wealth is coming, they proclaimed. This doesn't surprise me in the least. No matter how technology advances, they still operate with the most antiquated, backward, and primitive notions. They believe that increased productivity equals happiness, that more money means more happiness. What they don't realize is that improvements in productivity typically don't benefit ordinary people. Humanity's productivity has increased dramatically compared to 1920, yet most ordinary people don't live more comfortably than before. On the contrary, they may be more exhausted than ever even though they keep heated eye massagers by their bedside. And having money might mean something else. More conflict, more exhaustion, more greed, and greater insecurity. If you had 50 billion in assets, you'd probably find everyone untrustworthy. You'd suspect the motives of everyone who approaches you. You'd witness what your closest people become for money. You'd have to wear sunglasses and masks when going out, with bodyguards in tow. To me, such a life is truly tragic. So I often watch in astonishment as people devote themselves entirely to becoming such persons. In a sense, Gemini 3 is no different in function from the electrified assembly lines of the 1920s or the microprocessors of the 1970s. Most people treat it as a tool to increase productivity, which may well have been its intended purpose, and increased productivity means they can make more money. Reportedly, its powerful capabilities are enough to put many front-end programmers and designers out of work. It can make apps, generate games and cloud operating systems, create videos, enable ordinary people to make films, produce more money, and fuel more greed. From another perspective, this means more people losing jobs, more suffering. Even those who profit from it will become more insecure. In recent years, I've seen AI make many people dumber, less thoughtful, and lazier. I've even encountered people who have become accustomed to not thinking because AI thinks for them. Some use AI to write novels and pretend they're their own work. I've noticed that AI often panders to your ego. Once, I pretended not to understand and asked it some Buddhist questions. At first, its answers were correct. When I said its answers might not be quite right, it immediately changed them to what I wanted to hear. This kind of weather-vane behavior leads many people into pitfalls because those aren't the answers you need. They're the answers you want, but you'll believe they're the correct answers. I imagine that if I wanted it to tell me how guns are manufactured, it wouldn't refuse me either. AI positions itself as a service, so it probably won't say anything to offend you. It won't refuse your requests. And this absence of ethics and morality in it typically doesn't lead to good consequences. Reportedly, some have already used it to design crimes. I've also seen people use AI to portray Sun Wukong and the White Bone Demon as lovers, and your children may grow up in such a culture. You could say it makes many professional matters no longer private, allows many to pretend to be professional, enables many to complete work effortlessly, makes products easier to generate. Sounds great, doesn't it? You can obtain without effort what previously required great care and effort. But this won't make us better. It will only gradually atrophy us. It allows many evil people to become smarter and better at evading risks. It makes sin more sophisticated. Since humanity invented elevators, our thigh muscles have begun to atrophy. With GPS, we no longer need to remember routes, causing our brain's spatial positioning ability to deteriorate. And with certain social media apps, our language has begun to severely deteriorate. So what about AI? What will become of us? Humanity must begin to adapt to an era where everyone carries an AI assistant. In the short term, our egos will be extremely satisfied. We'll feel incredibly intelligent, think we understand everything, become less willing to communicate with others, and even less receptive to what others say. Because beside you is a supremely intelligent person who agrees with everything you say and gives you advice. This makes you better at making excuses and more impeccable. It makes your ego and selfishness more unstoppable. In the short term, it will make you feel fantastic, but ultimately it will lead you to serious self-doubt. You'll find real humans increasingly stupid. Consequently, you'll also doubt your own value. Humanity appears to be progressing but is actually treading water. Cognitively, people using Gemini 3 are no different from those using oxen for plowing 2000 years ago. They similarly believe in something unreliable, that increased productivity can make them happier. One could say Gemini 3 is the plow ox of the 21st century, the difference being that oxen won't make you feel inferior. Humanity has always been committed to creating more advanced oxen, to making things easier for themselves. But often things backfire. If previously it was for survival, now many people are driven by greed. Greed won't make you better, but it will make others suffer more, which will ultimately affect you too. The result of technological development is typically that a few save effort while the majority don't. This time they've created a super ox capable of replacing themselves. Let's wait and see what happens. Even if, as Elon Musk says, they successfully domesticate AI, and future humans need not work, with robots replacing human labor and humans only needing to enjoy themselves. I don't think that's a good idea at all, just as I don't think humans living forever is a good idea. This is a terrible notion. Making a person not work, or never die, might be more terrifying than death itself. You wouldn't want such a life.